With this photograph, I want to share with you a really fascinating technique that you can use in order to add light or brightness to your photograph. This is an image of the Bay Bridge in San Francisco, California. And what I want to do is I want to make it so that the bridge here is kind of illuminated so that it glows from within. Well, in order to do that, we're going to use a couple of different adjustment layers, and then eventually we'll merge everything to the top and change the blending mode. First though, let's start off with our adjustment layers. We'll go ahead and click on the curves adjustment layer icon, and what we want to do here is simply brighten everything up, and we really want to go for it. We want too much brightening. Next step is to invert this mask. Press Command or Control I. Then from there we'll grab our brush tool, press the B key or select this in the tools panel. You want a really big brush. You want nice soft edges. You want to paint it something below 100% opacity. Alright, next we're simply going to start to paint over the image where we want this brightness, where we want the viewer to look. So in this case I'm going to add brightness to this area here. Well, at this juncture this just looks way over the top, which is okay because what we'll be doing here is after we've added in this brightness, we're going to then change the blending mode. And when we change the blending mode, this is where the magic will happen. We'll take this to a blending mode of soft light. So now here we have our before and then our after. So we can really start to see that glow in this area. Well, if these edges are too defined, one easy way to fix that, go to your mask panel and just crank up that feather amount. I mean, really go for it till you have this nice, just diffused light source. Here's before and then after. Alright, well, something else we could do here perhaps is work on those edges. One way to do that, click on our adjustment layer icon. Here we'll choose curves. We'll go ahead and darken up those edges a little bit and then invert that mask, Command I. And in this case I'm not going to use a blend mode. I'm simply going to grab my brush, paint with white here just to darken up some of these areas to really add to this overall kind of glow type of a look. Next I'll go into the mask panel once again, same thing as before, increase that feather, just soften up all those brush strokes. So here we have our before and then our after. Well, at this juncture what we want to do is dial in this effect. And so we may need to lower our opacity on these layers. Just get this exactly where we want it. We might want to change that curves adjustment. But again, do whatever you have to do to get this to look just right. Before and then after. And you want this just right because what we need to do next is we need to merge everything to the topmost layer. And we need to do this because when working with that soft light blending mode, a lot of times what can happen is you can get color shifts or over color saturation. So in order to correct that or fix that, we make these two adjustments. Again, one, this curves layer on soft light. Another regular curves layer with a little bit of a darkening effect. And then finally, we merge everything to the top. To do that, we're going to use a shortcut. And it's a great shortcut. It's Shift Option Command E on a Mac, Shift Alt Control E on Windows. And we'll name this new layer Merged Luminosity. And we want to change this blending mode of this layer to luminosity. So we'll go ahead and do that. And initially we won't see any change, so there's no difference here. We won't see the difference until we turn off these underlying layers because those still have the color adjustments in them. Now here we have that original file, and then with these adjustments merged to top with this luminosity blend mode so that we can maintain that original color relationship that we had. Because what luminosity does is it just blends the luminance value of this layer. Now there will always be a little bit of a color shift with this adjustment, but still it's much less significant. And here we're back closer to what we had before in regards to the overall color. We have this really interesting nuance or look or glow coming from the middle. Here it is before and then after.